We will start taking questions. I am going to call on you each in the order that you RSVP'd for today's conference, and everybody will get one question, and let's be patient. We have a lot of people on the line, and we want everybody to be able to get their question in. So I'll hand it over to you, Mayor.
Well, thank you, and good afternoon, everybody. You know, Miami-Dade County is moving rapidly ahead in our fight against the coronavirus, and we're prepared. This morning, I went out to Tamiami Fairgrounds to check on the temporary field hospital that's been set up there, and we are ready to put it to use if it's needed. Now, at this time, we have plenty of beds available, so I don't want to scare anybody that somehow we need to put this in right away, but we have plenty of beds available. But if we do get jammed up, we have this 250-bed field hospital ready for patients. A couple of weeks ago, you know, I asked our County of Emergency Management and Emergency Operations Center to work on a plan with the state of Florida to set up a field hospital in Miami-Dade County. Governor Ron DeSantis and Emergency Manager Director Jared Moskowitz responded and authorized the first module deployed in Miami-Dade County the day after we made our request back on March 20th. A week later, the first 250-bed unit of this field hospital was ready for service at the Tamiami Fairgrounds. We have another 250-bed facility that can be erected in 72 hours, and that would bring us to 500 extra beds here in Miami-Dade if we were to have an overflow of our county hospitals. We're nowhere close to that, by the way, right now. This field hospital can be expanded in units of up to 250 beds per time, up to a capacity of 2,000 fully equipped beds. Each one of these hospitals has 250 cots with full linen. They have 2 doctors and 20 nurses, on-site facility manager, food prep kitchen and staff, laundry operation with staff, bathrooms and showers for the patients. And while we're going to be using our hospitals first, this is a pretty good stopgap safety net measure. And I want to thank everyone who helped us. Obviously, Governor DeSantis, Florida Emergency Manager Director Jared Moskowitz, Eddie Corral of the Youth Fairgrounds, Chuck Harvard, who actually oversees the construction, and the facilities manager Jamie Gum, and Dave Franco, who is coordinating the medical staffing. I'm going to say a few words in Spanish before taking your questions. Buenas tardes. Miami-Dade se sigue moviendo rápidamente en la lucha contra el COVID-19. Hace como 2 semanas yo le pedí a los jefes de la oficina de emergencia que llamaran al Estado para ver si podían poner un tipo de hospital temporario en el condado de Miami-Dade. El gobernador Ron DeSantis y el director de manejo de emergencias del Estado, Jared Moskowitz, respondieron inmediatamente, dieron permiso para la primera unidad. Una semana después, ya estamos listos con el primer hospital temporario con 250 camas que está en el Youth Fair. Esta mañana, fui al nuevo hospital en el sitio de la feria de Tamiami. Todo está listo para cuando se necesita. No estoy diciendo que se necesita, pero cuando se necesita ya está listo. Este hospital puede crecer por unidades de 250 camas hasta un hospital grande de 2,000 camas. Se puede construir ahí. El hospital que tenemos listo tiene 250 camas, preparada para 2 médicos y 20 enfermeros, en un gerente, una cocina, también un lugar donde se puede lavar la ropa, baños, duchas, todo listo para una emergencia. Con este hospital en lugar estamos listos si cambian las condiciones. Necesitamos más camas en el condado Miami-Dade. Sin tener que esperar, podemos manejar un gran número de pacientes si los hospitales que tenemos hoy se llenan. Claro, vamos a usar esos hospitales primero, pero tenemos esta opción en lugar. Así que otra vez le tengo que dar muchas gracias al gobernador y a Jared Moskowitz y todas las personas que están involucradas en esto. Ya hay otro hospital ya listo para construcción. Toma como 72 horas para construir este hospital, así que podemos crecer de 250 a 500 en los próximos 3 días. Así que Dios lo bendiga a todos y ahora puedo responder a sus preguntas. Gracias.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I'd like to remind everybody to mute your devices whenever you are not muted, and even a slight noise, you will pop up on the screen and we won't be able to see the mayor as he's talking. Thank you very much for that. Okay, our first question is going to be from CBS 4, Ty Russell. Ty, you there? CBS 4? Okay, we'll go back to CBS then. Christina Vasquez, Local 10. Are you on? Okay. Patty Mazzei, New York Times.
Hi, Patty. Hi, Mayor. Thanks for the time. I wanted to ask about your discussions with the governor. No one really asked yesterday, what about people traveling across counties in the state? You can try to lock down these 4 counties in Southeast Florida, but aren't you concerned about people coming in, going? Did you guys not talk about a possible statewide order?
Well, I mean, the orders that we have is called Safer at Home. It actually allows you to go out for a number of activities, like going to the groceries, going to get pharmacies. There's also a number of businesses that are still open, which consider to be essential. So it's almost impossible to kind of lock down the four counties, even inside cities that supposedly have stay-at-home orders. It really is no different than what we have in Miami-Dade County, Broward, and Palm Beach and Monroe, which is safer at home. You're safer at home. That's the message that we're trying to convey. If you don't have to do one of these activities, stay at home. When you do go out, practice social distancing. So I don't believe that somehow people coming from other counties is so much of a problem. I actually do believe that the people coming from some of the hot spots around the nation is a problem. And as you know, Miami-Dade County, a lot of people from New York come to Miami-Dade County. The governor put a quarantine or a self-isolation order for anybody coming from New York, that they have to self-isolate for 14 days. Hopefully we can get some listing of who those folks are that have been coming down to South Florida, Miami-Dade, and Miami Beach, those coastal cities, because we know we have a lot of them. And so that to have a friendly reminder to those people, those folks, that hey, you need to self-isolate for 14 days because you come from a very, very high, very, very hot zone. So, that I think that's what we need to do.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Our next question comes from Doug Hanks with the Miami Herald.
Thanks so much. Mayor, we've got Sergio Pino calling for construction sites to close down. What's your justification for allowing those to remain open?
Well, because it's an essential activity here in Miami-Dade County, and also we have really spoken to the construction industry as a whole. I had a conference call today with my police director. They did a number of hundreds of inspections on construction sites yesterday to make sure that they were practicing social distancing, and that the food trucks, we understand that there had been a problem with the food truck, people gathering close to them. That problem has been resolved as far as he could tell. And so, we feel it can be done in a safe manner. They're taking our warnings very seriously. If we see that there are problems with construction industry, or construction sites, we will shut them down individually. And so at this time, we're going to keep them open and we're going to continue to monitor it, and we're going to continue to enforce it. And if it turns out to be a problem, then we will have to shut them down individually, those sites individually.
Can you explain why it's essential?
Essential for the hundreds the jobs that it's creating. Also, once we recover from this, we need to have construction continue. I mean, right across the street there's a construction site from my house. They're practicing social distancing. They can do it as long as you can do it. As long as you can do that safely, I think that's something we want to continue to have.
Thank you, Mayor. Now, Adriana Gomez with the AP. Are you there, Adriana? No, Adriana. Okay, we'll move on to NBC6, Steve Litz.
How are you?
Hey, Steve.
Hey,
Hi.
Mayor, good. Thanks, we appreciate it. A little earlier today, the city mayor talked about the difficulty in the messaging, that there's maybe a lack in continuity, and with respect to that, there's a curfew in the city, but there's not a curfew countywide, and so he did note that. Just curious as to your thoughts. Would it make it easier for a countywide curfew, or maybe to get be a bit more consistent with the city?
Well, the thing is that the cities need to be a little bit more consistent also with the county. And so I've talked to our our county police director and asked him, was there a need? Does he think that there's something that he would like to see? He says, no, this is not a public safety kind of thing. This is not where after a hurricane where you have no lights and you have a crime issue or you have some kind of a disturbance going on. This is a health issue. And so there's nothing open at that time of night. Everything has been closed. All non-essential activities have been basically stopped. And so I asked him if it was something he wanted to do. He said no, because then he'd have to put more police officers on the street. They'd have to have more contacts with people that are just going to and from work or some essential activity. And the streets are very, very quiet. And so he didn't think that it was something that he needed. Also, all 4 counties are in agreement. Palm Beach, Monroe, Broward, and Dade, all 4 counties in agreement that no countywide order of a curfew is necessary. And I also spoke to health officials here from Miami-Dade County who said that they didn't think that it was something that was necessary either from a health perspective. Cars aren't going to transmit this to one another. And so what we have to do is that enforce no more than 10 people together, social distancing. Those are actually rules and laws that need to be enforced. We need to spend more time enforcing social distancing when we see people outdoors, social distancing in the businesses that are open, the grocery stores that are opening. That's more important than a curfew. And again, the curfew order, I don't expect to issue one because my experts have said one is not needed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Let's move on now to Telemundo 51. Telemundo? Is anyone on for Telemundo? Okay. Voice of America, Lilia Anisimova. Are you there? Rosie, PressNet Corps, do you have a question? Are you there? Okay. Nicole Wolf from SFL-CW. Mercedes Ceballos, América TV. ¿Tiene una pregunta, América TV? I see all the participants that RSVP'd on here, so I'm assuming not all of you have a question. Doricer Alvarado, TV Venezuela. Are you there?
Sí, hola, ¿cómo están?
Hola, ¿qué tal?
Bueno.
Hola, alcalde. Okay. Alcalde, bueno, en primer lugar quisiera saber cómo está. Quisiera saber cuál es las medidas que están tomando, sobre todo en el puerto de Miami, ya que en los últimos días han llegado cruceros que han tenido que ser desalojados de la tripulación o de pasajeros, que muchos de ellos están contagiados, y ustedes saber qué medidas están tomando y saber cuál es el pronóstico que ustedes tienen para el condado de Miami, es decir, es el condado que tiene mayor casos hasta ahora. ¿Cuál es el pronóstico?
Primero, okay. El pronóstico de nosotros siempre estamos mirando cuántas camas tenemos y camas de hospital tenemos, cuántos camas de tratamiento intensivo, se llama ICU, y también cuántos ventiladores tenemos en el condado de Miami-Dade. Ayer tuvimos más de 5,000 camas que estaban vacantes en el condado de Miami-Dade en el hospital. Teníamos más de 300, casi 370 camas de ICU que estaban vacantes, y también más de 700 ventiladores. Y eso es lo clave. No es tan importante cuántas personas están saliendo positivos, porque sabemos que las más personas que vamos a examinar, vamos a tener más personas que están positivos. Lo que es importante es la capacidad que tenemos nosotros en el condado de Miami-Dade en camas de hospital y también en ventiladores. Y todavía tenemos la capacidad. No hemos visto un tipo de crecimiento que es alarmante aquí en el condado de Miami-Dade. Acuérdate que muchas de las medidas que tomamos ya están en efecto por casi 2 semanas. Así que esperamos que estamos en la condición que está, vamos a decir, buena condición ahora. Eso no quiere decir que algo va a suceder que nosotros no estamos esperando, pero a este momento estamos bien. Sobre los cruceros se le han dicho muy claramente que ellos tienen que poner médicos y enfermeros en sus barcos para que ellos puedan manejar la situación adentro de sus barcos y no sacar el problema que ellos tienen adentro de esos barcos al condado de Miami-Dade, porque nosotros necesitamos la capacidad de esos hospitales y respiradores para nuestros residentes. Siendo eso, hay ciertos casos de vida o muerte que ellos sí han trasladado al condado. Yo creo que tenemos como 13 o 14 de ellos que han venido de esos barcos que estaban en condiciones bastante graves. Sí los aceptamos, entonces algunos hospitales lo tienen. Ya me han dicho que algunas de estas personas ya han salido de esos hospitales. Tenemos miles de pasajeros y también miles de empleados de esos cruceros que todavía están en esos barcos. Tenemos un proceso ahora de sacar a esos empleados que tienen salud, están saludables, sacarlos de esos barcos, entonces llevarlos al aeropuerto para que ellos puedan coger vuelos de charter para su país, para sacarlos aquí del condado, para que ellos no se vuelvan un problema para nosotros en el futuro. Así que eso es lo que estamos haciendo con los cruceros.
Gracias.
De nada.
Thank you, Mayor. Estrella TV, Jackie Dos Ramos. ¿Estás ahí, Jackie? Remember, you need to unmute your screen in order to speak to the mayor. Jackie, are you there? Okay, we'll move on from Jackie then. Miami Herald, Pierre Taylor. Okay, WSVN, Channel 7. I know you're there. I saw you.
Hello. Hi, Mayor. Hi. Yes, thank you. A quick question about the safer at home order. Yesterday, of course, we learned about the safer at home order for the 4 counties. Some are pushing the governor to issue a stay at home order, safer at home order for the entire state. Would you support that? Do you think that's a good idea?
That's something that the governor, the governor is the head of a pretty big state, and there are wide differences in the cases that we have in the state. There's still a number of counties that have 0 test positive for COVID-19. And so I think he's trying to be as surgical as possible. Obviously, the big problem is here in Southeast Florida. He has some other pockets where he has some issues. I think he wants to work as much as possible with the local authorities and follow and try to guide them into doing what's right in their local authority. So I'm not going to second guess what the governor is doing at this point. I know what we had to do. He was always very supportive of what we had to do. Obviously, yesterday coming down and then issuing a very unified kind of order for the 4 counties in the Southeast Florida, I think was important. Something that we set up with the other counties, basically following what Miami-Dade County had done and had outlined as essential and non-essential. And then also, I think that was very important. Also, it was a unifying message for the entire 4 counties and everybody that lives here that, hey, this is the basic guidelines of how we need to operate. Cities can have their own, they can tweak it, have their own nuance. They can have their own, if they want, they can have a curfew. And so even in Miami-Dade County, not everything is uniform. So it's really tough for the state to have the same uniform guidelines for the entire state when even in a county, everything is not uniform.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Patty.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So Univision 23, I know they were following along on Facebook Live, but I think maybe their reporter was going to call in, so I'm going to call out their station just in case they're on the line. Univision 23, are you guys on here? Okay, so next will be Eva Uzcategui, freelance journalist. Are you there, Eva? Okay, NBC Network News. Are you on the line? Okay, Glenna Milberg, Local 10.
Hi, Mayor. Since there's a lot of people not here, maybe we can get in another question. But my first is, have you been apprised when the projected peak surge is going to be for hospitals? And when that comes and these field hospitals need to be used, do they get the COVID-19 patients or do you switch out regular other patients and put them in the hospitals?
We hope never to get there. And the projections that I've seen, I don't think we're going to get there. Some projections I've seen a projection with a rapid rise in the number of positives, but I just don't see that same curve with hospitalization. It's a trend we've actually seen for the last week, not a rapid rise in hospitalizations. Like I said, we have about 5,000 bed capacity right now of vacant beds in Miami-Dade County in the hospitals that we have. So no, if we go to surge, and that 250 bed facility is really meant for those patients that have had something, they're about to be discharged, they just need to be looked after for a couple of days. So we'll have a transport mechanism to take those patients, put them at that 250 bed facility, which will then open up 250 beds, across the county in a hospital beds, which are much more capable of handling serious people with serious complications from COVID-19. So that is the plan. And if we in fact need additional, we can put up another 250 bed facility, within 72 hours. And so that right now it's up, it's running, it's ready to go. Everything is set. If we need to put another 250 up, we can put that up in 3 days. But right now we're not close to getting anybody into that facility.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Okay, so it is only 2:30, so we do have time for another go around. If anybody I missed calling on you and you have a question, go ahead and speak up.
Hi, this is NBC News. Sorry, we missed, my mic was off earlier. Can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
So, Mr. Mayor, it seems to me that you and Governor DeSantis, and to some extent President Trump, have putting the blame of the spread on this virus on New Yorkers.
I didn't say that at all. I didn't say that.
But it seems like the finger is pointing to them.
No, I didn't. Look. Let me make it very clear. Hold on. Let me make it very clear. Okay. I didn't blame it on New York. I'm just saying that I do support that is a hot spot. And I do support that when travelers from New York come to Miami-Dade, that they should probably isolate for 14 days. I didn't say that it started in New York. I'm just saying that now that we know it is a hot spot, just like, if people are coming from China, we stop them from coming in from China. So I haven't said that at all. Okay. Please don't put words in my mouth. Okay.
Well, then the CDC is saying that spread in states like Illinois is widespread and it's hot. States like Washington and California, will you be asking those citizens if they come to Florida to actually do that as well? And is it problematic? And do you think it's problematic, sir, that the governor did not shut down the beaches over the last couple of weeks when all these spring breakers were coming down? Do you think that has added to the widespread, or not the widespread, but to the outbreak down here in the Miami-Dade area, Palm Beach, Broward, those areas?
Well, I believe that caused some spread. Absolutely. Of course it caused some spread, but we took action here in Miami-Dade some time ago. And so we closed the beaches here a long time ago, probably more than 2-3 weeks ago is when we closed the beaches. And so I'll tell you what we did here. And as we see problem areas coming up here in Miami-Dade, we take action about it. But there are differences between Miami-Dade and the rest of the state of Florida. And so, again, I'm not going to second guess the governor in his decision. Local leaders always had the opportunity to do the same things that we did here in Miami-Dade. And so, we were able to close the beaches before anybody else did. And we did that because we had a throng of spring breakers here on Miami Beach. We knew it was a problem. And so the city of Miami Beach and Miami-Dade County took appropriate action to close it down as fast as we could. And then we did. But did it contribute to a spread of I would say, yeah, of course it had to, because you had all these kids, together on the beach. Obviously contributed some. A lot of those kids, weren't from here, but a lot of kids were from here. And so, that was a problem.
And will you be expanding it to other citizens from other states, residents of other states, asking them to also socially distance or self-quarantine for 2 weeks?
That is up to, again, that's not an order that I can give as the mayor of Miami-Dade County. That's an order that the governor, that's actually an order that the Surgeon General of the state of Florida can do. And so they have to look at their data to see where the hotspots are, and are we having a significant amount of travel from those areas, and is that posing a health threat to the people of Miami-Dade or to this area, and then that's going to be their call.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, I know that today we opened up, well, we have ready to go that field hospital. Anyone who is on the line that has a specific question as to the field hospital, I know that we're happy to have that in the county, and I'm sure the mayor would like to talk a little bit about that as well, since that's kind of the reason we're here today. Anybody else have a question about the field hospital at Tamiami?
I have a question about Tamiami. Mayor, what happened to the drive-up testing site that was supposed to go there, and now Florida said they're not going to provide it?
The assets, there were some limited assets in the state of Florida, testing kits and all that, and there was no testing facility in the state in West Palm Beach. So we already had two here in Miami-Dade, one at Marlins Park and one at the Hard Rocks, and they didn't feel that it was right to get a third one in Miami-Dade without having Palm Beach have one. So, those resources went to Palm Beach. We're now, the state is getting more assets, and we're looking at establishing a new test site down south. And then after that, move on to something else, maybe back to that site at the fairgrounds. But that's what happened to the fairground testing site. Those assets, instead of coming down here, they were allocated to Palm Beach County.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any other questions for the mayor?
Yes.
Go ahead, Glenn.
Hi.
Oh, channel. Okay, here we go.
Hi, Mayor. Just quickly, with respect to ventilators, are you familiar with the ventilator count? And that certainly seems to be a problem in other regions. And can you inform us as far as our ventilator stock?
Yes, as of yesterday, I don't have the updated today. It was 708 ventilators were available in Miami-Dade on all the hospitals. That does not include 300 ventilators that can be modified from operating rooms, and that also does not include up to 500 ventilators that the state of Florida has in reserve for Miami-Dade. There's also another 300 ventilators that are on order. I'm not counting those because everybody's got ventilators on order. So these are hospitals that have had ventilators on order for some time. And so they're waiting for them. So when you add the 700 plus the 300 that can be converted, there's 1,000 ventilators ready. And also, from my understanding, the state of Florida has 500 ventilators in reserve for us here in Miami-Dade. So that's 1,500. That's the number that I really look at, the usage of ventilators in Miami-Dade and what kind of a rise it has in that. Even though we've had a rise in the number of positives, our actual hospitalization rate appears to be somewhat lower than what we anticipated. Remember when I spoke earlier about hospitalization, there was 15% of the people that tested positive ended up in the hospital. 3% ended up in ICU, intensive care. Well, it turns out that right now the numbers appear to be, from what the numbers we're seeing, something in the vicinity of about 6%, 7% of the people, the number that we have as positives are actually hospitalized or have been hospitalized. And then if you take that, then it's probably 20% of that is actually on a ventilator. Now, what's interesting about the number, when you look at hospitalizations, it doesn't necessarily mean that we have 116 people. The last number that we had were in the hospital for COVID-19. A number of those have already been discharged, but we also know that there's a number of people inside the hospital that haven't been confirmed to be COVID-19, which they suspect to be COVID-19. And so we expect that hospitalization number to go up. But again, it's this capacity. That's the key to the whole battle. Do we have capacity in the hospital, ICU, and ventilators? And right now we do. And then, let's hope it stays that way.
Glenna, you had another question?
I do. Mayor, you've been with Carlos Magoya this week. Now that we know he has tested positive for COVID-19, will you be getting a test? Either the first or again? I know you had mentioned you had tested negative, but is it time for another one? And other people who were with Jackson's CEO, would you recommend that another round of testing?
I always practice social distancing, and that's the reason why. I always assume that everybody's positive, and so there's social distancing. Now, the message has always been from my office is that you need to practice social distancing, and if you do that, you're going to be safe. and that you assume that everybody is positive. And so I will be talking to health experts and say, look, this is the way this is what happened. I think I saw him for about 10 minutes. Seeing him, meaning I actually I could see him. But for the most part, we stayed away from each other. And I always, after touching a surface, I always clean my hands and sanitize my hands and all that. So I'll ask the experts and what they feel, and then I'll follow their guidance.
Okay, anybody else have any other questions? Okay, then we'll wrap it up. I will be sending all your news desks some still photos of the facility at the fairgrounds. And I know that we set up a pool camera with CBS4 to go in there this afternoon. So everybody contact CBS4 or, the little email that everybody goes out to all the TV stations so you can share the video.
Actually, Patty, I took some video when I was there walking around, so I'll send it to you. Maybe you can share that with them so they can see exactly what it's all about.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.